Most people quit Elden Ring, and almost everyone quits at the same moment. Not because it's unfair, but because the game does something most players aren't mentally prepared for. It takes away direction, it takes away comfort, it even takes away traditional storytelling, asking you to piece together the world through item descriptions most players will never read unless they invest extra time or look it up. And then it dares you to keep going. This isn't a flaw, it's a tax the game charges you for caring. And if you do keep going, that frustration slowly turns into obsession. The first thing you see when the doors open, it's the lands between in all its scale. You see the Elden Tree dominating the skyline, and the Stormvale Castle looming in the distance, a wild open field that feels calm, almost inviting. This is FromSoftware showing you the finish line before you've taken your first step. And right after that, you meet the Tree Sentinel, a towering knight in golden armor, mounted on a massive horse, standing right in your path. And naturally, most players fight him. He's right there, he looks important, and every other game has trained you to believe this is the first real challenge. But unlike the Grafted Scion, a boss you're meant to lose to after the tutorial, the Tree Sentinel is something else entirely. He's not a tutorial, he's a reality check. This is where Elden Ring teaches its first unspoken lesson. Not everything in front of you is meant for you. Not yet. Eventually, players figure out they can get torrent, come back stronger, and still get destroyed. And for a lot of people, this is where the thought creeps in. Maybe this game just isn't for me. And just when you think you'll go explore somewhere safer, Elden Ring pulls its most evil trick. In the Dragonburn ruins, suddenly you're transported into a different area of the map. The sky is red and everything wants you dead. Giant rot insects firing their weird projectiles that track everywhere you go. Scarlet rot melting your health bar in the swamps of Aeonia. You're not fighting, you're just sprinting, desperately looking for any sight of grace. At this point, the game hasn't even let you breathe yet, and that's the whole point. After Caelid humbles you, Stormvale Castle doesn't feel like a challenge anymore. It feels like a goal, and that's how Elden Ring works. It breaks you just enough that progress starts to feel earned instead of expected. Stormvale is nothing like Limgrave. Limgrave is wide, open, almost peaceful. Stormvale is tight, congested, claustrophobic. Every path feels so narrow, and every corner feels dangerous. Enemies aren't just in front of you, they're above you, below you, everywhere. You're constantly checking your back, moving slowly, second guessing every step. For a first time Souls player, this is a completely different kind of stress. The open world teaches curiosity, Stormvale teaches you caution. And Stormvale doesn't just do this with level design, it does it psychologically. That one room says everything. When you walk in and the doors lock and the knight steps out of the darkness with no mercy and no warning, Stormvale isn't just asking if you're ready, it's seeing how you react under pressure. Also, I have no idea how to get to this epic item. Can someone tell me in the comments? And then you meet Margit. Up to this point, you might still think Elden Ring is just a hard open world game. Margit is where the game corrects that assumption. He doesn't just hit hard, he messes with your instincts and your reaction. This line isn't just aimed at your character, it's aimed at you. Margit is Elden Ring asking a very simple question. Are you going to adapt or are you going to quit? I wasn't strong enough, so I did something Elden Ring very quietly tells you to do. I left. I explored the catacombs, I cleared the forts, I went down to the Weeping Peninsula. I upgraded my weapon, learned how Spirit Ashes worked, and yes, I used them. Not because it's easy mode, but because Elden Ring gives you tools. And the real challenge isn't pride, it's knowing when to use what the game gives you. When I came back, Margit didn't change, I did. Stormvale still wasn't done teasing me. I tried fighting the putrid tree spirit straight up, one on one. It destroyed me. So I did what Elden Ring quietly encourages Again, I learned, I adapted, I used the environment. Screw honor, survival is the lesson. By the time I reached Godric, something had changed. Not the boss, my mindset. He didn't feel like a punishment anymore, he felt like a test. And when I beat him, it didn't feel lucky, it felt earned. And then Stormville opens up, not with a cutscene, but with a view. Leonia isn't cramped, it's quiet, vast, almost peaceful. Doesn't that seem familiar, just like Limgrave? And that contrast is intentional. The difficulty in Elden Ring isn't linear, and just when you think you understand it, it shifts again. After Stormville, Elden Ring does something unexpected. It lets you breathe. Leonia isn't cramped. It's quiet, foggy, unclear, and that's the trick. There's no obvious direction here, just land, water, ruins, and questions. In Limgrave, curiosity pulled you forward. In Stormville, fear pushed you forward. In Leonia, uncertainty does. You're not stuck, you're just lost. And for the first time, being lost doesn't feel dangerous. This is Elden Ring teaching you a new habit, exploring without urgency. And once the game knows you're comfortable being lost, that's when it sends you somewhere it knows you'll hate. Up until Caelid, Elden Ring rewards curiosity. You wander, you explore, you push forward. Caelid is the moment the game asks, what if curiosity hurts? The sky is burning, the ground is rotting, everything feels hostile. Caelid doesn't invite you in, it dares you to stay. Caelid doesn't just look like hell, it behaves like it. And up to this point, you might think you're getting stronger in a straight line. Godric going down, Leonia opening up, bosses feeling manageable after Margit. Caelid immediately corrects that assumption. Enemies hit harder, they drop more runes, and they have more HP. But they also demand more from you. Fighting while Scarlet Rod eats at your health bar isn't skill, it's stress management. We can all agree the worst part in Caelid are the dogs. They just don't stop. They keep chasing you, past enemies, past ruins, sometimes all the way to a site of grace. There's no safe disengage in this area. Once you're seen, the game just commits. And then you come into Dragonburrow, which feels like an endgame area. It's like the hardest part of the game. That area also taught me something I didn't realize until later. The beast clergyman aggroed me for some reason. I panicked, I fought back, and I accidentally killed him. And only later I realized that he wasn't a normal enemy. He was a quest, a reward chain, and a piece of the world I erased by mistake. This game doesn't punish bad combat decisions, it punishes bad assumptions. It's sad that you can miss so much on your first playthrough without realizing how all the NPCs interact with your character. And then I seriously thought maybe I should just change my build, not because it was bad, but because the margin of error just disappeared. Every mistake felt final, every close range fight felt like a gamble I didn't want to take. It's the first area where the game quietly suggests there are other ways to survive this. And in Dragonburrow, fighting the gargoyle, the dragon, the tree avatar, they weren't hard, they were just impossible. I was doing nothing to their health bars, so I left. Elden Ring doesn't punish you for leaving, it punishes you for staying when you're not ready. And then there's Radahn. By now, the game has already broken a lot of expectations. Radahn raises the bar again, not just in difficulty, but in scale. This is where Elden Ring reminds you that its difficulty isn't linear. Radahn isn't just hard, he's proof that even after Godric, even after Margit, the game can still look at you and say, you're not done learning yet. So I just summoned everyone, because the game wants this fight to feel overwhelming. And even then, he was just chasing me like he knew I was the main player. Not Radahn, I mean this NPC, like why is she chasing me? Go fight him, do your job. Even with Radahn being hard, he's proof that even with help, The game never lets you forget who this journey belongs to. Beating him doesn't feel kind of clean. It feels like you barely survived. And then when I came back to Dragonbarrow later in the game, it was different. There were somber smithing stone 7s, 8s, and 9s everywhere. Enemies that once felt impossible now felt manageable. And that's when it clicks. Some places in Elden Ring aren't meant to be conquered, they're meant to be remembered. Up to this point, Elden Ring has been testing your limits. The underground tests something else entirely, whether your curiosity was even worth the suffering. And what I mean by that is, what if the reward for that suffering isn't power, but knowledge? And that's when we go into Nokron. Before that, I decided to change up my build. Coming to Carrion Hall, I tried Miriam the way I always had, with a strength build. Then I tried him as a mage. Same boss, completely different game. After Radahn, I didn't immediately change builds. The real breaking point came later. The bell-bearing hunters didn't feel like bosses, they felt like judgment. Yeah, these guys were the reasons I switched my build. I don't know, I found it so hard to dodge their weird slice attacks. Let them be a victim for a change. All that just to fall off the cliff. So I switched to mage. Because Elden Ring lets you rethink how you survive. And the game is very clear about one thing. Magic doesn't solve everything, even if the game feels easy. Malenia made sure of that. When Nokron opens, it doesn't feel like you're going down. It feels like you fell into the sky. Stars everywhere, endless night, no weight, no pressure. If you told me this was heaven, I'd believe you. Elden Ring doesn't design spaces by elevation, it designs them by feeling. Maybe it's just me, but Deeproot is the only place that actually feels underground. Heavy roots, darkness, and silence. Nokron feels like a secret the world wasn't meant to keep. It's calm, it's haunting, and weirdly beautiful. And the longer you wander here, you notice something strange in the sky. Red lights, tall pillars, some massive structure floating above. It almost reminded me of the Parthenon in Athens. Ancient, imposing, almost divine. At that time, it just looked cool. I had no idea how important that view was. And then you reach Mohgwyn Palace. Blood and lots of blood. The pillars, the symmetry, almost ceremonial. And then you look down and you see and you see Nokron right there. That's when the map clicks. This world isn't random, it's layered. Mohg was one of my favorite bosses in the game. The atmosphere, the music, the tension, everything was top notch. It felt like the game leveled up. Mohg isn't just another boss. The blood loss mechanics, the ritual, the countdown. It's not a fight you rush, it's a fight you endure. And outside the lore, in the moment, he was awesome. This fight felt deliberate, like the game saying you've earned this spectacle. That's the trade-off the game makes with you. It hurts you on the surface, then rewards you underneath, but it never does it for free. After everything Elden Ring put me through, curiosity, fear, endurance, and wonder, the world finally takes you somewhere that feels beyond. Crumbling Farum Azula is not a level you clear, but something you witness. It's just ruins, storms, and dragons frozen in time. Everything here feels odd in a way like the rest of the game doesn't. Like you stepped outside the normal flow of history. If Limgrave pulled you forward with curiosity, Farum Azula pulls you forward with awe. At this point, you're not exploring because you want loot, you know it's the end game. You're exploring because you need to see what this world still has left to show you. And then there's Malekith. Not just another hard boss, but the guardian of death itself. He doesn't just feel like an obstacle, he feels like the culmination of everything this world has been building toward.
Oh, death. Become my blade once more.
By now, the game isn't just testing your reflexes, it's done with all that. It's testing whether you have actually learned how to survive the Elden Ring's reality. From the moment you stepped into Limgrave, to being thrown into Caelid, to discovering Nokron beneath your feet, to standing here in Farum Azula, Elden Ring was never just making you better at a game. It was slowly reshaping how you see worlds. Most people quit Elden Ring at the Tree Sentinel, not because they're weak, but because Elden Ring asks something different from you. It asks for curiosity when you're scared, patience when you're overwhelmed, and trust when nothing else makes sense. And that's why, even when you're suffering, you never really want to leave. Because Elden Ring isn't just a game you play, it's a game you remember. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you like deep dives just like this, consider subscribing. There's a lot more games I want to explore just like this.